Our next guest is a highly controversial participant in the reality TV series Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now, in the entertainment industry, she has worked with Missy Elliott, T-Pain, and even Michael Jackson. But her history is one of nonstop trouble with the law. Court documents show that from the year 1980 to 2005, she has been convicted of trafficking stolen goods, grand theft, possession of counterfeit money, armed robbery, burglary, and more recently in 2012, she appeared on America's Most Wanted for suspected murder and was later arrested in 2016 for suspected identity theft and forgery. Now, have you already made a decision on what this person must be like? Well, you're about to find out. I'm Creflo and this is Your World.
Changing one life, time after time. Oh Lord, we do it all for you.
Through the trials I see, I'll always believe a new life starts with me. Oh,
Change your world today. Change is gonna come your way. Change and get an understanding. His grace will transform you.
Thank you. Our next guest has been from the very bottom, spending years in solitary confinement, to the very top as a multi-million-dollar queen of the entertainment industry. By reputation, her family is well respected and feared in the streets of Atlanta. Would you please help me welcome Karen King to Your World? God bless you. You can be seated. I am really looking forward to talking to you today. Thousands of people are going to relate with you, understand. We're going to answer some questions. We can take your experience to try to help them to avoid experiencing the same things.
Absolutely.
We're going to dig a little into your emotions, and you're going to take us into your world. And it is going to be a blessing to people. So let's start this way. Let's go back and let's look at your childhood, how you were raised. Did you have both parents, siblings, some of the things that happened there? Because sometimes we can find our roots there to try to find out what happened later on. And then take us on this journey of your life.
Well, I was raised in a two-parent home. Really, I had an amazing childhood. My father was a postmaster. My mother was an RN nurse.
So you finished high school?
I did.
Did you go on to college?
I went to college for business. I've always been business-minded. I had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted a degree in business, organize, be the boss,
Sure.
and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I didn't finish.
So with what you're telling us right now, amazing childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You were raised by two amazing people, went through high school, got some college education. How do we end up in prison?
Bad choices. I wanted to be grown and I wanted success. I had like a storybook dream.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't fully understand what approach I needed to take to have the dream. So I took the wrong approach. And
So what were the circumstances surrounding the very first time you got arrested, and how old were you then?
the very first time I got arrested, I believe I was 19. And I didn't really think that I would go to jail because I, in my mind, didn't think I was doing anything wrong. But you have to understand the law. When you reap the benefits of the people who do wrong, it's called conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to jail too.
That's good.
Whether you committed the direct crime or not. Sometimes, you go to prison longer than the people that did the crime, if you were the mastermind.
That is so important. Number one, I want our audience to understand, and I think she did a great job of articulating it, that when you participate with somebody who's doing the crime, you involve yourself in a conspiracy. And so was that the circumstances surrounding the first time you got put in jail?
No, I knew everything that was going on. I gave direction, from afar. He said, do this. He said, so I knew. But to me, in a young mind, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but I was doing something wrong.
So how many years did you get that very first time?
I got 10 years and 8 months, and in the federal system, whatever your sentence is to the date. You get 45 days a year, good time.
So at 19, you were put in jail for 10 years.
Yes.
Did you have a kid or?
I had one.
Okay, one kid. So how old was?
He was a little over 4 when I seen him again. Well, when I came home, he was 14.
Wow. I can't fathom that. I can't even try to fathom the fact that, there's this baby that you leave, and I know that was rough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Tell me about, being in prison for 10 years. Did you have people visit you? Did they keep you up on everything that was going on?
Well, I did not. My parents, I was like the oldest girl, and I was pretty, I was beautiful when I was young, and they were embarrassed, so they would tell stories like, oh, my daughter's in London, she married a wealthy man, or my sister's a model, she's in Pier. So, they didn't visit, they didn't come at all, nobody.
I don't need to ask you how that made you feel.
Well, I can say this now. I was in survival mode then, but after really understanding my life and everything, I could say when you're in prison and nobody is there for you, you have to become a product of the environment that you're in to make it. Otherwise, you won't.
So you didn't become a victim in prison?
No, I was too tough to be a victim.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why I bring that up is that a lot of times when people go through things, sometimes you can become this victim, and you're paralyzed, and you can't move forward because you carry a victim mentality, regardless of what goes on. In prison, however, did you ever experience like being put in a hole?
Well, yeah. So I wasn't even there 6 days, and before prison, I knew about gay guys. I didn't know any women, that was gay. Back then it wasn't so popular and all the stuff. So I knew gay guys. They used to do my hair and everything. But when I got in prison, it was all these people that looked like me. And I was like, oh, this ain't gonna be that bad because, there's some guys here, but they weren't guys.
I just got what she said, Forgive me, I was a little slow with that, but yeah.
But they weren't guys, and it was a girl. She used to pressure me, and it just made me so like, she's violating me. I gotta do something. So I had to do something, which cost me to go to the hole. So out of the 10 years, I did 6 years in solitary confinement.
6 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
6 years out of 10 in solitary?
Absolutely.
Whew.
So I really damaged her, so the punishment was the 6 years in the hole.
What does 6 years, I can't even think 2 days or a week in solitary confinement. What does that do to you mentally?
Well, probably somebody that God is not holding on to their shoulder. And, just getting them through it, I probably wouldn't be here to talk about it. For me, I used everything I had to get whatever I wanted in the hole. And I always have been strong on, running my brothers over and being the boss of them. So I wanted to be the boss of everybody in the hole, including the guards, So I knew that I could control the guards. more so with my mind than with my body because I knew what they wanted. And that's what I did. So I started like running an operation back there in the hole, and it just went by like that. It was like I was at home. I was getting dressed up in my room and fixing my hair.
I don't know if I'm gonna ever hear this explanation like this again. The whole, it was like kind of like I was home. I hear you though. You made the adjustments in order to make it through.
Even before I came home, I got back out in population. And that's when it hit me that I had been locked up in the hole, had to survive, and I wanted to go home. I remembered, that's when I remembered that I had a child. I didn't even think about my child while I was back there. I couldn't. I had to win. I had to get out. But once I was back in population, then I had to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about my child. And people was like, I thought you was a lifer, the way you were acting. No, but I had to survive because I didn't have nobody. Nobody from the outside, because everybody was ashamed.
I mean, to know that people didn't come and visit you, that you didn't have anybody from the outside, and to know that, the shame that they had. Because that's sad to me.
It's very sad. Unfortunately, I love my family, but when I came home, it was, oh, I miss my sister. You didn't miss me. Don't ask me why I'm not coming to the family reunion. Why? I've been 10 calendars behind the wall. You didn't come see me.
So will you admit that you had to deal with some hurt?
Oh, I was definitely hurt.
Devastated.
But in order to make it, I had to compress it.
Yeah.
Because it takes more energy to be angry and
Exactly.
negative. You can't even get a blessing in that state.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and you hit it right on the head. The fact that if you are hurt, then of course you have to deal not just with the hurt, but you got to deal with the anger as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because anger is just an expression of your hurt. And so you were still focused on the fact that, yeah, I am hurt, I am angry, but this is not going to get me
Anywhere.
where I want to be. Mm-mm. So I've got to deal with it. So were you still prepared to have this family that you wanted?
I wanted a family. I just still had the vision that I'm going to get married and, the fence, the pool, the tennis court, and we're going to be wealthy. Because being poor or not being successful was not in my, it wasn't in my thought pattern. And I didn't want to go back to prison.
Right. And what we're going to find out, we're going to take a short break, but she went back to prison. And the circumstances that were around that, and she did have another son. And the circumstances around that. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
There is a purpose for your life. Introducing Grace Life Academy, an innovative approach to learning God's Word. Grace Life Academy offers unlimited access with hundreds of hours of online teachings. You'll have access to comprehensive video Bible lessons that include features such as e-courses, study guides, an online community, quizzes, and more. Text GLA to 51555 or go online to mygracelifeacademy.com.
Welcome back. So Karen, the story so far is just, it's mentally, I'm trying to go through the journey with you mentally. And it takes a lot.
It did.
But, so you went to prison for 10 years, and then circumstances showed up where you had to go to prison again.
Yeah. Well, I had, when I went to prison the first time, I had little other stuff. Petty stuff. But when you get incarcerated, they ask you, anything else you got, fill out a paper, and they'll take care of it while you in custody, and you will have to deal with it when you get out. So everything go together. Well, all the little stuff that I had, I took care of, but I guess something got under the rug or the couch or somewhere, and I got out of prison. And about maybe, I want to say, 4 months after I was out, a county contacted me, the bail bondsman, and they was like, hey, you know, you got something down here, come down here so we could get it off the books. And, you know, in my mind, I was not even, it was just no fret. I wasn't thinking about it. I was going to have this baby, and this was going to be mine. I was going to get to raise it from little bitty up. I got a paper in the mail, you know, that said I needed to be at court. You know, I said, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to take the baby. You know, nothing's going to happen. They're going to see that I've been away 10 years and back, you know, a new mom. I went to the seat of bail bondsman, and everything nice that they said, as soon as I got there, they put the handcuffs on me. I was like, why are you doing this? And he was like, no, you know, it's no big deal. This is just how we have to walk in the courtroom. And it was like a surrender. They tricked me. You know, it was like they had presented to the judge like I had ran away for 10 years, that I wasn't in custody or anything. They wanted to come off the bond. They wanted me to be in custody. And so because I was fresh out of prison, immediately that's a parole hold to even get back in custody. So I immediately went back into custody, and they, you know, took my baby from me. And I act so bad to the judge said, no, call somebody to pick her baby up. We're not gonna take the baby into custody. So that's how I ended back up in prison for that charge.
That hurt, huh?
That was the worst. That was worse than the 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I had a new baby.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got 2 sons. You have this experience with prison. Are there any other times where you got locked up, or before we start talking about your sons? There you go.
So I'm trying to stay cute, you guys. Gotta be fabulous.
Everybody cries on that couch.
Okay. So it's a couple of more times that, you know, I went to prison, I got out, you know. So I went to prison, like I said, with my son. What was worse than that, when I came home, I didn't know him. So when I got home, and my baby was 2, and he was real light with all this long hair, I was like, whose child is that? And when my cousin told me, she said, that's your baby. It was just something inside of me said, that's it. Nothing, nobody can ever make me do anything to go back to prison.
That was the bottom line?
Yeah, that was the bottom line. When a mother don't know their child, it's like, that's the lowest of low. You know, they say it's instinct to know your kid. And when I didn't know my kid, that was like, all this stuff is out the back window. It's enough.
So was it out of the back window, or did something else come up even after you had that moment where you decided, I am not going to go back to jail at all?
Yeah, everything illegal was out the back window. But just because you decide it's over, it doesn't always mean it's over once you've been in the system.
Explain.
Because once you go in America, and I've been to 27 countries, not doing anything wrong, but I know this American law because I've been in the system since 18, and I'm still in it right now. And once you've been in the system, anything you do, say, anything, if somebody else do something in this neighborhood and I live here, like the crime I did 10 years ago, they not looking for them. They gonna say, oh, Karen live over there on 33rd Street. Let's go see what's going on with her. And if I don't got nothing precise to give them, and I may not, because I'm not thinking about, I got to keep every day of the week on the calendar to tell somebody when they come ask me, I'm gonna go to jail. I have to prove myself. They say you're innocent till proven guilty. That is not the case. You're guilty till you can prove yourself innocent.
So the burden of proof would always seem to be on
Exactly.
you because of your record.
Exactly.
Even if you were falsely accused, you would still have to prove that I didn't have anything to do with this.
Exactly. I'm going through it right now. I'm going right now, the second that I'm on this couch, I'm going through it. I done been arrested on set, filming at work for shoplifting. I don't have to steal, but hey, you know what? Such and such, they said she was there, let's go get her. So it's a big newscast, it's a big everything. And I may not, be in custody because I might have the money to not be physically in custody, but I'm still fighting a case and I could still go to prison. And if I don't have the money for good legal defense, I'm gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
And I'm not even guilty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us about your sons. I thought this was pretty interesting. How old are they now?
I have one son, 44. I don't look like it, do I? I have another son that's 31 and another son 25.
Okay. Tell us about their rise to fame. I think you'd find this very interesting because the story we heard, you're kind of like wondering what's going on with the kids and how did their lives turn out. Give us some insight on that.
My younger two children, I also raised my nephew, which is now deceased, but he was a part of the group. When they were small, I wanted us to be rich. So I said, I gotta figure out something to do where we could be successful. And one day I was watching MTV, Madonna. Bow Wow was driving Madonna's Cadillac out on stage, and I said, now my kids can do that. I said, my kids can do that. So I went to the intercom and I pushed the button. I said, hey, y'all wanna rap? They was like, yeah. I said, come on down. They came on downstairs. I showed them Bow Wow on TV. They was like, yeah, Ma, we wanna do, we wanna. I said, okay, baby, Mama gonna make it happen. And I just started calling New York, looking for lawyers, calling LA. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew they was cute, like Bow Wow. I knew they were cute. And I finally got a lawyer to, I said, hey, I got 3 Bow Wows here. They talented. Honey, they didn't have no talent. I said, they talented. I say they talented, and I started doing little steps and rehearsing with them. I didn't know back then what a demo was. That's what you really needed to get a record deal with. And this lawyer, she told me, she said, I'm gonna take you to all of the record labels. She said, I can't get you the deal, but I could get you in there to see the people. Once you get in there to see the people, you gotta make the deal happen. And I did. The people say, do those kids got a demo? I said, no. Here, put the tape in. They gonna perform.
Right there, huh?
Right there. I always had them ready. Hey, anybody see you, they ask you, do you rap? Say yeah and start dancing.
That's how they used to do it.
Yeah. So they got an amazing deal.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Mm-hmm. That is the grace of God. That is the grace of God. Well, we thank God for your journey because I think that when people, as they hear your journey, they can also hear the hope and the possibilities that Jesus is still able to take a mess and make a masterpiece.
It's never over.
Yeah.
It's never over until you stop breathing. You don't got to give up.
Y'all appreciate our guest today? Part of receiving the gift of grace is an understanding of what it means for our lives. Grace is God's unmerited, undeserved favor, but it goes much deeper than that. God's grace is realized when you discover a close personal relationship with Jesus. Listen, I want to hear from you. Connect with us online at yourworldwithcreflo.com. Stay connected with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and know that I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you next time, right here on Your World.
God's unmerited favor towards us has made it possible for our identities to change from the sinners in the pit to those who choose to live in the palace. His powerful grace is available to anyone who is ready to experience real transformation. We have access by faith to all of the finished works provided by grace. We have to renew our minds to the truth about who we actually are in God's eyes. In his book, The Radical Life of Grace, Creflo Dollar will show you how to receive God's love instead of working to get what God has already freely given. Once you understand grace, your life will be changed forever.
That is the grace of God. Jesus is still able to take a mess and make a masterpiece.
It's never over.
Yeah.
It's never over until you stop breathing.
But that's not all. Call today and you can receive the full unedited DVD of today's program, Queen of Kings, From the Pit to the Palace, now in its entirety. Listen closely to Creflo Dollar's words of wisdom for your own life, found only on this DVD. When you understand grace, you will experience a very real life transformation. So that's the book, The Radical Life of Grace, and the uncut full interview between Creflo Dollar and Karen King, both for your tax-deductible donation of only $25 or more. Call or go online right now to receive a life-changing collection to help you gain the understanding of God's unmerited grace and be lifted up out of your situation and into the palace you deserve. Our operators are standing by. Call right now. You've seen the show. Now come and be a part of it. Join Dr. Dollar and guests as they explore the issues of life, love, and personal growth.
The show was designed to provide hope so that people could understand the grace of God and His unmerited, undeserved favor to make the difference in your life.
For free tickets to be a part of our studio audience, email yourworld@worldchangers.org or online at yourworldwithcreflo.com. When visiting New York and Atlanta, join Creflo Dollar at World Changers Church International. Service times are Saturdays at 6 p.m., Sundays at 10 a.m., and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. For more information, visit us online at creflodollarministries.org. Because of you, Creflo Dollar Ministries is providing a new understanding of grace and empowering change in the lives of millions of people every day. Thank you, partners and friends. Your love and financial support makes it possible to bring this message into millions of homes all across the globe.